All right, good afternoon and greetings from South Georgia, USA. We're going to do a little more talk about golf. I'm using my green 5-gallon bucket to demonstrate something to you. The first thing I want you to notice is that this golf club is vertical, straight up and down. It's not leaning forward. It's not particularly leaning backward. It's right there. The reason it's there is because I have it on the bounce. As I move it, I can feel. This is how it sits. It's called the bounce. Let me show it to you. It's this section right here, built into the club, okay? This is how this club was manufactured to work. Straight up and down. It wasn't built to be hit like that because the blade here runs into the ground. And that's what they say you should be doing to make a divot in front of the ball. It works like that, and some really good players are here's our audience right here. This they think we got some corn for them. Now let me show you another one now. Now you'll hear, if you read golf books and instruction, they'll talk about the bounce. But many times golf teachers, even though they might talk about it, will not. All right, I have to look. There it is right there. That's sitting flat on the bucket right there. And notice the golf club is vertical, straight up and down. It could vary a little bit this way and a little bit this way. Sometimes the bounce is actually kind of rounded over right here. But it has some leeway. It's not exactly flat like a chisel blade. That's how that golf club was manufactured to work. This goes way back in the design of golf clubs. Let me show you another one now. Now that's a pitching wedge. Whoa, come on, don't fall off. Thing doesn't want to act right. Now, this is a Miura 7. Let's see how Miura manufactures the bounce. Look at it right there. I got it sitting flat on that bucket, and the shaft is vertical. It can vary about that much before it touches both edges. Okay, this is what it looks like on the Miura. Right here, that's the bounce. They call it bounce for a reason. The reason the bounce is built in there is so that if you hit a little bit deep on the ball, it will glide across the top of the ground without digging in and stopping your shot. Okay. All right, here we are. Now I showed you with my professional demonstration that this club is meant to sit this way. Now I showed you that because the bounce is slightly rolled over, you could go a little bit this way and a little bit this way and still be within the parameters of the bounce. The bounce is meant to bounce off the ground. Now see, I'm hitting into the side of a hill. You got to go on a straight path. It's meant to hit I'm hitting the bottom of the club. If I hit real hard and hit real deep, it'll gouge a hole in the ground. What I'm telling you is that this club is meant to be used like this, not like this. So why are the golf teachers teaching this? You can hit the ball further that way because you see you're changing the angle of the face. You're essentially turning this pitching wedge into an 8-iron when you do that. Here's the face of it. You're turning it into an 8-iron. But now you're gouging into the ground. Look, if you need an 8-iron, get an 8-iron. And the 8-iron has a bounce too. Why turn a pitching wedge into an 8-iron? People are obsessed, and the golf industry is obsessed with distance. Who runs the golf industry? I'm going to tell you. The golf manufacturers run the industry. The golf club manufacturers are the ones that started the Professional Golfers Association. They're the ones that had the tournaments and put up the money and built the professional golfers into idols and heroes. I'm not saying they didn't deserve it. They were great players, the Ben Hogans, and all of that. But where did that money come from? It came from the manufacturers. What do manufacturers do? They make golf clubs, and golf balls, and golf bags, and golf gloves, and golf accessories. Okay? If they don't sell those things, they're not going to stay in business. Just keep that in mind. Now, a set of golf clubs, this set right here, is more than 20 years old. And they still hit just as good as the day that I got them, and they were used when I got them. Golf club manufacturers cannot stay in business if people buy a set of clubs and use them for 20 or 30 years. Therefore, I'm going to hit a couple of balls, and I'll let you think about why it is and what that has to do with the bounce and what I'm talking about. All right, I'm going to hit a couple using this golf club the way that it was meant to be used, which is essentially straight up and down, possibly slightly back, possibly a little forward. Maybe this much right here. And you would be out of the bounce, okay? Straight, deep, one more time, straight up and down, not here. Now I can hit it this way, but it essentially destroys the arc of the club, and it requires manipulating the club, which these great athletes that we have now can do. But we're just regular golfers. We're trying to make a good shot. We're trying to keep from hugging it off, slicing it off. Golf club is here. Maybe a little bit, just a little bit back here. Okay? Boom, right on the green. There's no green out there, there's just a field, but I promise you it was straight and right on the green. And by the way, I'm hitting this with my hands. I'm hitting it with this hand. I'm right-handed. This is how I hit. This is how I do everything. I'm not hitting it with my body. I'm using this thing as a club. It's a club. Okay. Why would the people that run golf be glad that their customers get confused and can't understand and go to get lessons and watch YouTube videos and pull their hair out and get obsessed with it? What if you taught them incorrectly? What if you encouraged people? They have professional golf instruction associations too. Would it be to their advantage to tell what I just said, which is it's not the club, it's the way you're using it? They want you to buy a new set of clubs. They'd like you to buy a new set of clubs every year. You notice they come out with a new set every year? There aren't that many new golfers coming out every year. Forget that. Golf is on the decline. They want the older golfers, the ones that have been in there, that are trying to break 90, to try to break 90 with the newest set of clubs. It's a business. If they don't sell new clubs, they can't make their condominium payments. They can't keep up their alimony. They can't send their kids off to an Ivy League college to learn how to party hardy. And that's what's going on at these colleges. I'm getting off on a tear. Get back to you in just a minute. Now, I guess many of y'all have heard of Harvey Penick, who wrote The Little Red Book. I actually had a copy, and maybe I still do somewhere, of The Little Red Book. Harvey Penick is honored as being one of the greatest golf teachers of all time. Guess where Harvey said, how he said to hold the club? He said he wanted the club at your zipper. That's right here. Mine is anyway, straight up and down. How about that? He didn't say anything about this right here. He said another one. Now I hit that one a little thin, but it still went straight. You're not going to hit it right every time, but I didn't get in trouble with that shot if I was on a golf course. Let's do it again. Make sure your club is square. Beautiful shot. You heard the click. And I'll show you where it hit. You see the grass? Right there. The third and fourth, right there is where it hit. I don't think my job is to get on to anybody. I just try to tell the truth. This is not about buying new equipment. You can get online and buy yesterday's and the day before and the day before or the year before golf equipment for a fraction of the price. People buy it and they are fooled into thinking that it's the golf club. It's not the golf club. Bobby Jones completed the Grand Slam with golf clubs that were made of hickory wood handles. Gary Player, talking about it, called it broom handles and frying pans for the heads. And he was essentially saying that they were not anything like the modern clubs. But they were essentially the same thing. They had bounce. Some of them didn't even have grooves in them to make it spin. One more time. Now it's up on a little hill right here, so I got to be careful here that I don't dig into the dirt too much. I've got to be cognizant of my spatial All right, here we go. Oh, that was beautiful. Beautiful shot. You notice there's no divot? All right. Okay, so why would I turn it this way and make it harder to hit? There's video after video of how to hit down on the ball. The amateurs can't hit down on the ball. Some of the pros can, because they spend umpteen hundred hours hitting down on the ball. You go back and look at some of the old golfers. And the old ones, you'll see them doing this. They scored just as good back then as they score now, and they didn't have nearly as good a golf courses. Now let's talk about who runs what. Let's talk about the medical industry. Now, when I was a kid and I had a sledding accident in they called it a flying saucer. It was a scooped out, not scooped out, but it was a pressed aluminum circular bowl with two handles on the side, and we would go to the top of a small mountain in Massachusetts and slide down the snow on the side of that hill. It was probably a 30-degree hill. And I had a crack up and I broke my knuckle. Back in those days, you called the doctor, and the doctor came to your house with a black bag, and that's all he had. A black bag, and he came and treated you. Now, in the case of what happened to me, he did tell me, you need to come to the office because I need to do a cast. I need to put a cast on your hand. In those days, the doctors were not controlled by who? The American Medical Association. It's about money. Rich people went about buying up medical colleges, pharmaceutical companies, anything to do with medical, and they took it over and they began to do what companies do. What is the reason for a company? What is a corporation all about? It's about profit. What kind of profit? There's profit in healing people. But there's a lot more profit in not healing them. Certainly if you prolong it, you're going to need to come back to this office 10 times. When maybe one time could get the job done in the old days. Operations. If any doctor ever invented an operation, whatever operation it was, tonsillectomy, hysterectomy, heart bypass, any new operation that a doctor invents, you better believe that the medical industry is going to do its very best to figure out how to give that operation as much as possible, regardless of whether anybody needs it or not. And then they got real smart and just paid people off in Congress to use government money to pay them. And then they could really start raking in the money. Healing people is not their first priority. Making money is their first priority. That's what corporations are. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying corporations are about making money, not going out of business. I'd say be very skeptical. All right? It's well known that sugar and the modern Western diet is killing people. It's giving them diabetes. Well, think of all the money they make with diabetic medication. If you went to a real doctor, he'd say, you got to quit eating sugar. Now, you got to quit eating carbohydrates. In 6 months, you'll be healed. They don't tell them that. They say, take this pill, take this medicine. That's what I think is going on in the world. All right, here we go. Square. Straight up and down. And hit a perfect shot. I guess I meant to go on that rant. I told what I thought was the truth. Have fun with golf, but you don't have to go out there and spin an arm and a leg. Look this up, see if I'm not telling you the truth. This business is hard to do right here. See, that digs in. Let me hit one like that. There's umpteen hundred videos out there trying to teach people how to hit down on the ball, when that club is not made to hit down. It's meant to bounce under it. I'm not going to hit down on it because I don't like it anymore. I'm just going to hit the ball. I'm going to hold that club straight. I'm going to hit it. Beautiful shots. Now I felt that I dug a little deep. Look at that right there. I hit a little deep there. That was my error. See that? That's not a divot. I just hit deep. But because of that bounce, that kept it from digging in and stopping. It went through and came out the other side. That's what that bounce is for. If you hit it perfectly, you won't need the bounce. If you hit a little deep, the bounce will keep you from digging into the ground. The ideal is to hit it perfectly. Let's see if we can hit it right. And I did. All right, that's my take on the golf swing today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you got something, maybe something to think about. Signing off.